Speaking freedom. Speaking freedom. Giving you the answers to be free. Be free. Be free. 'Cause we're speaking freedom. And we're live online with Kaci.
Love and marriage, love and marriage. I don't know why that fucking song just came in my head, because I'm about to talk about this vaccine shit. Okay, quick video just because, listen, I am kind of against the vaccine because it was created too quickly, and they don't know the long-term effects of the vaccination. It's just like taking any type of prescribed medicine, and especially the ones that be like, if you've gotten or taken this type of medicine, if you've had this procedure, or you did this, then you may be entitled to compensation. And most of that is because people didn't know, or there wasn't enough trials done, medical trials, clinical trials done to make sure that something was safe. And that's how I feel about this vaccine now. I do follow a page that posts all of the reactionary type of effects of the COVID vaccine, the amount of deaths from the COVID vaccine itself. However, I personally, COVID is real. COVID-19 has caused deaths, but the amount of deaths that it has caused at this point, I believe, is under 550,000. 550,000 is definitely up under 600,000. But the amount of people who have had COVID is 25 million. So 25 million is a very large number, and under 600,000 is less than 6% of the amount of people. It's less than 5% of the amount of people who have actually encountered or had COVID. That means that if 25 million people have had COVID, then 24 million 0.5 have recovered from COVID. So when you talk about when you do numbers, if you're a numbers person, then the way that they are amplifying, they're not even amplifying the numbers. They're just saying it in a way that would make you think or make you focus on the height of the number, the amount of people that have died. Over 500,000 people have died, but over 25 million people have had COVID. So that is such a small percent. But if you say that 5% of people have died from COVID versus and 95% of people survive, then the vaccination wouldn't seem as important. The mandatory state of having the vaccination wouldn't seem as important. Now, the thing about COVID is, and the diagnosis and the just everything surrounding it, is that COVID has eliminated the flu virus. The regular flu, because the regular flu is a variation of a COVID. But COVID has totally wiped out people dying from the flu, has totally wiped out people being diagnosed of the flu, probably wiped out people being diagnosed of pneumonia or any type of upper respiratory type of illness, because everything is being classified as COVID. Now, that's good and bad. Now, bad because it makes the numbers look very crazy, because a lot of people really don't have COVID. They have other shit going on. But if you classify it as COVID, it makes COVID look like it's dominating everything. But if you look and see that the flu is not nowhere near, nobody is getting the flu, then it makes you realize that COVID is just a new version of the flu that may be a little bit more lethal and deadly for people that cannot handle any type of sickness. Now, when it comes to this vaccination cards, and not being able to move around without being vaccinated, it's kind of up in the air for me. Like, I am totally against taking a premature vaccination because it hasn't had the right checks and balances to make sure that it's actually healthy and that it's going to be effective. As of right now, the word on the street, or the way the news has reported, is that COVID vaccine does not cure COVID. It does not prevent COVID 100% effectively. It just lessens the possibility of you getting COVID. So you could get COVID vaccine and still get COVID. This is probably why it's easy for some people to get the COVID vaccine and then pass away, because their body is not equipped to handle COVID, even in the form of vaccine. Because if you don't know, vaccines are primarily you being given the virus so that you don't get the virus, but you getting the virus when you get the shot. I've had anthrax vaccines. I have smallpox vaccines. I've had a lot of vaccines from being in the military. And some of those vaccines did cause reactions within my body. I think that some of the problems that I had after the military in Iraq, especially like with my stomach and stuff, initially comes as a result of being vaccinated for shit that we didn't even fucking encounter. Now, I understand the point of vaccination is to try to lower the spread just in case you get it, but it needs to be effective. If it's not 100% effective, then I really don't want to get it. And effective meaning prevents and or cures, but a vaccination gives you whatever it is that you're being vaccinated for. And then however your body responds to the vaccination is what you have to live with. Now, when it comes to these vaccination cards and them trying to make it mandatory, I pray that they do not make this shit mandatory and they handle it like the flu. Like after they get so many people vaccinated, then please, Lord, allow them to say, okay, well, if you got vaccinated, good, you can have a vaccination card. But if you've tested negative for COVID within so many whatever, then you can still move around freely, because literally there are religious beliefs that limit people from getting vaccinated from any and everything. So there are people that will not be vaccinated because of their religious beliefs, and they should not be limited in travel and activities or anything else simply because they didn't want to get vaccinated. Now, what I'm about to say is, hopefully so many people get vaccinated that not being vaccinated is not a threat. But it will always be a threat if the vaccine doesn't stop or prevent you from getting or having COVID. So that means that it's really not even a good vaccine, because it doesn't prevent the spread or cure it. Now, again, I really do not want to get the vaccine. I don't know if that vaccine will damage my body even more, especially because I've already had health issues that make my immune system a little less up to par or able to handle certain things. However, if they made it mandatory, like you can't leave out your house without having a vaccine card, then I might be forced to get the vaccine. But hopefully I don't want to be forced to get the vaccine. I want it to be a choice. I want it to be a choice maybe a year from now to get the vaccine. Because if it's not going to prevent it or cure it, then it seems like it's stupid to me. And I believe that it's going to be some long-term effect of how the vaccination affects a lot of people, because there was not enough clinical trials done. Like before you can present something, it has to be trial. It has to be some trial and error to see what needs to be fixed, to see if it's actually effective. And then I was listening to something, and it said that it's not even considered a vaccine because it has not been clinically trialed yet. And in order to be considered a vaccine, you have to go through a certain amount of things that have not really taken place. So this is just kind of a guinea pig project where they are testing to see if it will work. It's an experiment. But most of everything in the United States of America is an experiment. If you ever go on a Capitol tour, now you might not be able to go to the Capitol in DC for a little while after the damn Capitol riot. But If you've ever had the opportunity to go to the capital of the United States of America and do the tour, in that tour, the first thing you do is go sit in the auditorium and they play a video clip of how everything was built and how the United States of America came about, basically. And one of the first things they say is, this was all an experiment. But what we fail to realize is that it is still an experiment. There is no proven method of anything in this world until we go through it and experiment with it to see if it actually works. And as you begin to go through things and see if it works, it creates the culture around you. It creates the society standards. It creates the norms. This is why in mental health and so many other aspects of medicines, certain things are considered normal because the majority of people experience this normalcy. While if you are not the societal standards of normalcy, then it's considered abnormal, like something is wrong. But literally, everyone is created different. Nobody is the same. There is no real normal. It is what is consistent and what's inconsistent. You know what I'm saying? Normal is up in the air. Nothing is normal, because what is normal? What is abnormal? It's what do you see consistently in most cases versus what's more rare. Being a genius is rare, but having average IQ, average thoughts, average brain processing is normal. But if your brain works faster than another person, if your brain works faster than the average human, then you're considered a genius or abnormal. But this is the thing. If more people had that intellectual genius gene, then that would be normal. But because a lot of people don't, it's not. And in addition to that, a lot of things that affect us are from vaccines and medical things that, because we aren't doctors, we don't inquire to learn more about a lot of stuff. And a lot of things that are able to make us feel like we're not good enough or we're abnormal is because we just don't know enough. We don't research enough to really look at the real numbers. Like, it's almost like with the COVID, we're taking the face value of them telling us the things that they want us to hear, the things that they want us to understand, instead of doing the research ourselves so that we can understand the vaccinations, we can understand the numbers of the people that actually have COVID and survive versus the people that have COVID and die. Because literally 95% of people with COVID survive. Now, they may go through it when they get it, but they survive. And there are 5% of people, or less than 5% of people, that do not survive from COVID. But again, when you're titling everything COVID and, labeling everything COVID, then it's hard to say, well, this is COVID and this is not. Or, this person didn't really die from COVID. They died from something else. But, just because COVID is around, it might have played a part in it. Like, it's a lot going on, but I just pray that they don't try to make these vaccinations mandatory. Although a lot of vaccinations that children and people get nowadays are already mandatory. But if you have a religious belief system that says that you shouldn't be vaccinated because it goes against your religious principles, then they literally shouldn't. I want to say they can't make you get vaccinated, but can't is a strong word, because they can make you do anything or try to act like you're a criminal if you don't. However, if you have a religious preference or a religious belief system that says that you should not be vaccinated, you should not be forced to take that vaccination. You should be able to sign something that say, this is my religion. My religion doesn't believe in this. And I don't, I'm submitting to my religious freedom. So don't force me to vaccinate. Now, I do believe that if you are able to have a negative COVID test or be vaccinated, then I would be willing to go get negative COVID tests, you know what I'm saying, for the rest of my life in order to avoid being vaccinated with some unknown foreign chemical that is, you know, that could be possibly damaging to my immune system. But that's it on the vaccination bit. Speaking Freedom presents Good Head Group, providing advanced spiritual studies and personal developmental insight. Brought to you by Love Gang and Speaking Freedom. We look forward to helping you grow in all the areas of your life. We hope that you find all the information needed for your growth. God bless. Please listen to all disclaimers provided. If you are currently under physician's care, please maintain that relationship. This is not intended to stop your current treatment plan. If you need physician care, please seek out medical attention. Please note, all results are based on the individual's ability to adapt and adjust to any given environment and situation. We are not responsible for your results at Speaking Freedom. The life enhancement coaches at Speaking Freedom provide information to help you grow. You are responsible for maintaining that growth, taking on and then applying the information to your individual life as you deem needed and necessary. This may contain and explain explicit content. Please use parental discretion. For best results, you will need an open mind, the ability to research, and a balanced lifestyle.
Please join us daily for your inspiration and motivation.
We have the entire world to offer you at your fingertips. Your life enhancement coaching specialist. Thank you for choosing us to assist you in accomplishing your personal and professional goals. And have a beautiful day. In love, we trust. This is brought to you by Good Head Group, Love Gang, and Speaking Freedom. We thank God for you, and we love you.
Hi, I'm Kaci, Dr. Kaci to be exact, owner of Speaking Freedom LLC, Love Gang, and Good Head Group LLC. I am also a certified life coach and host of Speaking Freedom Radio and TV. Although I have recently became an ordained minister, please be aware that I am still me, raw and uncut the way God made me and allowed life to shape me. I pray and expect God to use me for people who can receive the way I communicate, as well as my delivery. I am not for those who are already saved, religious, or super deep. I am for the leaders, hustlers, and street influencers around the world, including pimps, killers, drug dealers, and working girls. I am sharing my experiences and perspective to help someone be inspired to be better, and for those who can identify with the various aspects of my mindset. My mindset alone does not determine the status of any active connections or current relationships that have not already been specifically addressed. Additionally, these recordings should not be taken personally if I have not already spoken to you about the topic or expressed that I have an issue. These recordings are a part of my life's work to document my experience, perspective, and to see how life has shaped me. My plan in using my stories publicly and socially is to encourage growth in those who can identify with the experiences and find inspiration in my life to heal and overcome the path that they've been set on, no matter what they face, as according to the purpose of their soul, until healing takes place. Despite the experiences that I may have had with any person, sometimes known and unknown, I hold no grudges, no hate, no bitterness, or any other ill feelings against anyone. I pray that your life is whole and very fruitful. I forgive you as I hope that you forgive me if I have wronged you or anyone that you know or anyone who listens to me. I pray that you have peace and extend the same grace to others. I have love for everyone, especially on a human level, despite flaws or experiences. But that doesn't mean that I will associate or be close to every human that I know or meet. I've experienced a very eventful life and truly believe that my mindset and story based on experiences could help those who identify with how I think and are looking for inspiration to grow further, go beyond hurt, and be great. I pray that these recordings bless you and your soul in every way, in whatever way God has intended. Sending love and light to all. Thanks for listening. Achieve your dreams.